Okay, let's roast some veggies. I'm going to do a little bit of a variety here. And I'm starting with my butternut squash, which I've already cut into pieces. I find it easier to handle if I cut the neck off from the bulb and then use a knife, get a flat surface, use a nice sharp knife, and you just kind of go around it and cut off the skin. It's easier than trying to do it with a peeler, I think. So I've cut that up in pieces, and you want to take the seeds out. I've got a little garbage bowl here. I'm actually using a grapefruit spoon. You can use just a regular spoon if you want, or a knife. I like the grapefruit spoon because I can actually get in here and I can kind of scoop this flesh and all these seeds out. And if you garden, you can save these seeds and plant them and get your butternut squash plants, which is what I plan on doing. I'm going to save a few of them, and that way I'll have some seeds to plant and hopefully have some butternut squash this fall. So anyway, you can see here I've cleaned this all out, getting all of the seeds out. You end up like this. I've cleaned all of these pieces. So I'm not going to be using this piece specifically tonight because I'm going to be roasting some other vegetables as well. I'm just going to kind of go with what I have here and just kind of cut it up into 1 inch, 2 inch pieces, just kind of bite size. And I'm going to put them over here on my sheet pan. So as I get them all cut up, I'll just toss them over here. You can use a foil lined or you can use parchment paper, either one. If you get any of the little strings still on there, you can cut those off as you kind of trim this up. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to cut all these up. And when I'm finished with that, I will start on the other vegetables. Okay, I put some over here on the baking sheet, and I actually have another pile over here. I'm just going to kind of play it by ear as far as, or just kind of sight to see how many I actually want, since I have a couple of other vegetables. I've been experimenting lately with vegetables and trying some rutabaga, trying some different types of beets, turnips, and daikon radishes. So that's what we're going to do tonight. And I've actually found out these are all very, very good. And when you roast them, they're just very, very good and very mild. Now, I'm going to cut off. You can kind of watch me as I go here. I'm going to cut off the end, and then I'm just both ends, the root end and the top, and then I'm just going to be peeling them. Actually, I'm going to dump these over here into my little compost bin so that I can put it out in the garden. But one tip when you buy your vegetables, wash them, clean them when you get them home, and then put them in the fridge, and then that way when you're ready to use them, they're already washed, they're ready to go, whether you just need to peel them and then cut them up. And another tip on the butternut squash, if you don't want to mess with it, because they are a little kind of difficult to do, very, very tough skins, and trying to get all those seeds and everything out, so you may not want to mess with it. So most grocery stores now all have the butternut squash that's already been cleaned and cubed for you, or you can buy them frozen. And you can still roast them even if you buy them frozen. But I typically, a lot of times, if I want to save time, I want a shortcut, I will just buy them already done and cubed up, and that way I'm ready to go when I get home. Another thing, when you're working, and I don't always remember to do it, have a garbage bowl set off to the side so that you can just throw all of your, whether you're peeling an onion or peeling vegetables, that you can actually just toss your scraps right over into that, and then easy cleanup. So you can see I'm just going to peel all of these, and then I'm going to cut them all up. Okay, got them all peeled, and I'm going to kind of cut them up, and I will be totally honest with you, I don't have the best knife skills. I would definitely love to learn a little bit more whenever COVID's over. I hope I can get to Williams-Sonoma or Sur La Table or get with my chef friend Gaspar and actually kind of learn how to do this better and be a little bit more uniform with my cuts. But hey, you know what? This isn't a professional kitchen, so it's just for Bruce and I. So if things are a little uneven and aren't cut maybe the best, well, that's just the way it is. I'll also say one thing about COVID. With my real job, I actually was always traveling a lot and wasn't home that much except for the weekends. And one thing with COVID, I have definitely been home, haven't been traveling, still working, still pretty crazy busy with work, which is a good thing, but it really has given me a lot more time to cook, and I've been really happy about that because I really do love to cook. You know, and if you get a few pieces that seem to be a little bit big, you can always, you know, cut them a little bit more. So we'll get the rest of these all cut up. If you can see, I just kind of, no rhyme or reason really to how I cut them. Cut it this way, and then I'll cut it in half, and then I'll just start kind of cutting different slices. Definitely when I get to these ends, they're not going to be that uniform, but hey, you know what? It works for me for now. So I'm going to get the rest of these all cut up on the sheet pan, and then I'll show you what we do next. All right, have everything all cut up. Doesn't that look pretty and colorful? Lots of goodness on this tray. I have some rosemary that I pulled off the stem, and I'm just going to kind of rough chop it because I want to add that with a few of the other seasonings. But we're going to take some olive oil, and I want to coat everything. Make sure it's all nice and coated with the olive oil. That was probably, you know, I would say 3 tablespoons maybe. But you can kind of judge it. Oops, I got a little bit of a big chunk there of a butternut squash. But you get it all nice and coated so that it will roast. Get nice and soft and lots of good flavor. Okay. Wipe my hands off. Okay, so now I'm going to season it up. I want to use some sea salt. I'm just going to use a little bit because a couple of the other seasonings already have some salt in it. So just a nice pinch. I'm also going to use, I'm still using, and I've been trying to buy some before it goes totally, the Cocoa Exchange is out of business at the end of February. So if you really want to get a hold of some of these seasonings, there may still be available on the website, but I'm going to use some of this everyday blend because I really liked it. It has a nice mixture of peppercorns and let's see, has some cocoa nibs and sea salt, onion, garlic, parsley, coriander, just kind of like it says. It's an everyday blend, so it has a little of everything in it. So I have these nice and seasoned up. I want to use some of my Borsari cracked black pepper. This you can get at Whole Foods. If there's a Whole Foods near you. If not, maybe you can order it off of the internet. It's a mixture as well of black pepper, garlic, again, some sea salt. So I didn't want to put too much salt on it. And then I'm going to add my chopped rosemary. We're going to put that in here. Again, kind of toss everything around, make sure everybody is nice and coated so that when they go in the oven and start cooking, they're all going to have some seasoning. There's going to be all kinds of goodness in this pan when we're finished. So, can you see how easy that was? And it really didn't take that long. And like I said, if you buy the butternut squash already cubed up, cleaned and cubed up, you're really ready to go. We're going to roast them in a 475 degree oven for, I'm going to check these after 30 minutes. They may take a little bit more than 30 minutes, but I will definitely check them after 30 and see if they're nice and soft and starting to get caramelized. So when they're ready to come out of the oven, I will show you what we have. Okay, after about 30 minutes I checked them and they still weren't quite where I wanted them to be. Some of them weren't tender enough. So I went another maybe 5-10 minutes total on them to get them soft but not totally mushy. And then I just kind of finished them off with a little drizzle of a very good quality balsamic vinegar, just to give it a nice little kick taste there at the end. And these are ready to go. Bon appetito!